What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It is Horror Fan 34, and once again, welcome to another convention recap video. This time, it is my convention recap from Monster Mania 60 in Baltimore, Maryland. This was actually the first time that Monster Mania has held their show in Baltimore. It was originally, for the longest time, for many years, in Hunt Valley, but then I think that hotel shut down. And now they moved it to the inner city Baltimore Harbor area. I believe it's like inner city, the inner city harbor area in Baltimore, Maryland. I mean, as soon as you get off the expressway going into the city, I mean, the hotel was like literally like right there, and it's like right across the little street is Camden Yards, which is a beautiful ballpark. First time I've actually been to Baltimore probably since like 2009 when I went on my 8th grade trip to go to. Hello there? Okay. I do not know what happened to my camera there. It froze on me, and I looked like my face looked like it froze, and then it looked like I was sniffing a fart. But anyway, let's keep on going to what I was saying. The last time I was in Baltimore was 2009 for my 8th grade trip, which is crazy. Because I went there before in like 2006 to catch a Phillies game, and that was like well over 10 years ago. And then 2009 when I graduated 8th grade, on an 8th grade trip. We took a trip to the Baltimore Aquarium, and it was around. We went to Camden Yards and did the ballpark tour and did the baseball museum and things like that. So that was really the last time I was actually in the city of Baltimore. So it's been well over 10 years since I've been to the city of Baltimore, and I completely forgot how beautiful the city of Baltimore is. Like, it's a very beautiful looking city, like Camden Yards, and I always forgot how beautiful a ballpark it is up close in person. And right across the street was the Hilton Hotel where Monster Mania was held at. Had a great time at the show. I thought it was a really, really great show. I loved the hotel that it was in. The autograph room was huge. It was very spacious. The vendors were amazing and things like that. I got to meet 4 guests, and all of them were fantastic, especially like 3 out of the 4. I couldn't tell you which one I liked more out of the 4 people. Or out of the 3 out of the 4, I should say. But I'll get to that when I get to the autographs and all that stuff. But I did pick up one thing from the vendor. If I can grab it here. Here it is. I grabbed this from the Severin table. And it's a House on the Edge of the Park, which is the Severin Films release. Which I know this was out of print for a long time on DVD. And from basically, I'd never seen this, but from what I understand, it's directed by Ruggero Deodato, which I have no idea he even directed this. It's an Italian horror film, and from what I understand, it's more of a sort of like a Cannibal Holocaust, more graphic, more version of The Last House on the Left, but done Italian. And it even has David Hess in it as well, which is kind of cool. So, be looking forward to give this a look at some point, but I figure I picked that up from the Severin table, because Diabolic, the table that I usually go to, wasn't there, and Vinegar Syndrome I think wasn't there, so I think they were there on Saturday, but I didn't go Saturday, so I just picked up something from the Severin table, and that thing was like $20, which you can't go wrong with that. $20, it was has like the soundtrack in there and things like that, so not a bad price whatsoever. So $20 is definitely a really good price for that. But finally getting on to the main state of the video here, getting on to the people that I met. Met 4 people. So the first person that I met was Alicia Witt. I mean, if you don't know who Alicia Witt is, she was the main girl, Natalie, in Urban Legend, the first movie. She was in Cecil B. Demented, 88 Minutes with Al Pacino, and she's been in a lot of other stuff as well. Guest starred on TV shows like The Sopranos. Even 2.5 Men, she was in an episode in. So I really wanted to add her on my Urban Legend Scream Factory Blu-ray. And Alicia was one of the 3 that I couldn't tell you which one I liked more for person-wise. Alicia Witt was a really, really nice lady, a really down-to-earth lady, and things like that. I mean, it's just a really, really great person overall to talk to. And funny enough, the word urban legend never came out of my mouth. Me and her actually more talked about the city of Baltimore and how beautiful it is and how things like that. I mean, she was even talking about how her sister is a New England Patriots fan. So it was just kind of a little bit of a cool conversation where you don't like. That's what I like to have unique conversations with people, like not just about like their filmography, but just like when you can talk about like something random, like we did, and it was like our whole like 2 or 3 minute conversation was just talking about the city of Baltimore and just how beautiful it is and things like that. And she says she got to film the John Waters film Cecil B. Demented in Baltimore because John Waters is, I think, from Baltimore. So it was just a really cool little story right there and things like that. And I could not have been more happier with Alicia, which is a really, really down to earth lady. Very friendly, very personable, and things like that. I mean, well, I cannot say any more good things about Alicia Witt. So, here is I'm going to do the same thing with all the other ones where I show the picture of the celebrity, them signing it, and then the autographed item. So, here is my picture with me and Alicia Witt. And here's a picture of Alicia Witt signing my Urban Legend Blu-ray. And her autograph on it. Okay, so moving on to the next person. The next person that I met was another one. Like I said, I couldn't tell you. Like this was just as friendly and personable as Alicia and the last person that I met, but I'll get to that last. But so the next person was Scout Taylor Compton. I mean, she played Laurie Strode in the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, and I think she had a supporting role in The Runaways with Kristen Stewart and Dakota Fanning. But I really wanted to meet her for the film 247 Degrees Fahrenheit, which is a horror film that takes place in, I think, Georgia, Russia, and about these friends that get trapped in the sauna and it's hot and they can't get out and like their skin's like I'm not gonna get into it, but it's kind of a cool little if you sweat really easily and things like that, it's definitely a very uncomfortable film to be watching, but like I said, Scout was just as personable and just a happy-go-lucky person like Alicia Witt. I mean, she was really nice, super talkative, and full of energy. She was really funny, and I mean, I've passed on Scout Taylor Compton many times because I just couldn't think of anything for her to sign because I'm not a big fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween, but I almost completely forgot about 247 Degrees Fahrenheit, and wanted to see what her reaction would be to her bringing that up to her. And she was completely blown away because she says this is the first thing she's ever had signed from this because everyone always gets Halloween signed by her and things like that. So she was just completely blown away, and she was telling me all these really cool stories about working on the movie and talking about like how like because it was in Russia and there was like guardsmen there that pulled guns on them because I guess they didn't know they were filming a movie there, and then like they were like frozen dead in their tracks, and just kind of crazy like the cast that is they were being held up by these gunsmen and things like that because I guess it was like the Russian like agency or sort of like their FBI sort of like office over there. She was like I said, really cool, like it really interesting, crazy stories. Talking like when Scout was talking about working behind the scenes of the movie, and I was even talking about how she was talking about her co-star Travis Van Winkle, and I was actually telling her that I'll be meeting him at the Christmas con in December, and I was asking her like I can't decide what I'm going to bring Friday the 13th or this film, and she's like, please bring this film and please tell me that I love him and I send my regards to him because I miss him, because I guess she hasn't really seen Travis Van Winkle that much over the couple years, and she loved working with him, so she wanted me to tell him when I meet him that Scout was asking for him and things like that. Like I said, like just an overall fantastic lady and just very hyper energetic, and definitely one of the friendliest celebrities I've ever met is Scout Taylor Compton. She was really, really nice. I can't believe I passed on her so many times, and I've heard nothing but the greatest things about her, and they were definitely all true. So, getting it enough of me rambling here. So, here is my picture with me and Scout Taylor Compton. And here's a picture of Scout Taylor Compton signing my Blu-ray. And her autograph on it. Okay, so getting on to the next person that I met, this was a big one for me because I'm a big fan of the Kevin Smith movies, and she was a part of the Kevin Smith universe. So the next person I met was Shannon Elizabeth. All of you know her, of course, from American Pie. She was in the Jack Frost horror film. She's been in the remake of 13 Ghosts, and and of course, my personal favorite role of hers is Justice in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So I was really looking forward to meeting her for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and I originally brought my Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back DVD, which is over here. But she had a really cool 8x10 photo of the poster of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and I just figured I'd just grab that instead, and I can put a couple pieces on there if I want to and things like that. So it's I can probably add like Jason Lee on there, or like smaller people in the film, like trying to think maybe like a James Vanderbeek if he ever does a show one day, and things like that. So just a really nice to have a little piece right there. So I wanted to get Shannon Elizabeth on that. Shannon Elizabeth was really nice as well. We talked for a little bit, and she literally just arrived there, and she was talking about how she was having a great time, how Baltimore was a beautiful city, and things like that. So nice little quick conversation with Shannon Elizabeth. She had a pretty decent sized line, so she didn't want to, you know, hold everybody up and things like that. But it was really nice to talk to her for at least a minute or two. She did that with everybody, and she was asking people questions and about themselves and things like that. So just a really, really nice lady as well. So here is my picture with me and Shannon Elizabeth. And here's a picture of Shannon Elizabeth signing my the 8x10. And her autograph on it. Okay, guys, so now we're getting on to the last person that I met, and this is another one. Like I said, I couldn't tell you who was the most friendly, personable celebrity, whether it be Alicia, Scout, or this lady. So the last person I met was Alexandra Paul. All of you know her as, I guess, Keith Gordon's like girlfriend in Christine, because they had a Christine reunion. They had Keith Gordon, Alexandra Paul, William Ostrander, and I forget the other guy's name. Malcolm something. I don't remember his last name, but it was a Christine reunion. But of course, she's been in other stuff too. She was in, of course, Baywatch. But I really wanted her on this underrated gem that I really enjoy called The Paperboy, which is a Killer Kid film. And Alexandra Paul was, like I said, she was also really friendly, really personable, really talkative with everybody, and she was really talkative with me. She was really blown away by the Paperboy, and that like someone brought that up to her and things like that, because she always gets Christine stuff or Baywatch stuff, but no, I guess no one ever expected to bring up the Paperboy to her. She was telling me how great it was working with William Catt. She was telling a really funny story about how her and William Catt worked together on the Piranha remake that was in 1995, which I know I'm like Piranha 95, and I looked at the poster and like I've seen that DVD cover before. It's like the picture of the piranha fish sort of like a red looking cover, and I think it was a remake from the '70s. It was a remake of the '70s before it was remade in 2010. So she was telling me a really funny story about William Catt and her working on the Piranha remake in the '90s, and she was telling me how great it was working with him on the Paperboy, and she was getting into all the other cast members. She talked about how the guy that played the kid in the movie, how he was really really sweet, and she hasn't spoken she hasn't spoken to him in over 20 years because she said that he quit acting and he's doing something else, and she says she would love to get in contact with him again one day because she really loved working with him. She also said really great things about Frances Bay, who was Adam Sandler's grandmother in Happy Gilmore and things like that. She's been in a lot of things. Critters 3. She plays the older lady in the Paperboy, and she was telling me how sweet of a lady Frances Bay was and things like that. And funny enough, for the life of us, me and her couldn't think of a quote from the Paperboy, and we were laughing about that. So then I just kind of like left it up to her to sign and things like that. So I just kind of left it up to her to sign whatever because she personalized it to me. And when I didn't know what she was writing, and because I was taking a picture of her signing it and all that stuff. So it wasn't until when I walked away from her. She even thanked me for bringing up the Paperboy back to her because it brought a lot of great memories back to her and things like that. So overall, awesome lady in Alexandra Paul. Like I said, it wasn't until I noticed when I walked away and I went out of the autograph room to look at the vendors and I saw what she wrote, I was just laughing my ass off because her inscription was probably one of the most creative and one of the most funniest inscriptions I think I've ever gotten from a celebrity at a convention. It was pretty clever. So, but I'll say that for the photos and everything. So, here is my picture with me and Alexandra Paul. And here's a picture of Alexandra Paul signing my Paperboy DVD. And here is the autograph on it, and look at the inscription that she wrote. It is a clever gems of a line, so check this out. Okay, everybody, that is it for the convention recap. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. You guys take care.